everyone. It's been almost 10 days since I recorded my first It review. I then uploaded it like today. Tomorrow would have been 10 days since I recorded it and I hadn't edited it or uploaded it. And today, since it's Friday the 13th and it's a horror day and all that crap, I figure might as well do my other review. So today we're reviewing It Chapter 2. First, I think I should go into a bit of background, though, about the movie and my own experience with it. I saw this movie with someone that I was, really close with, and I kind of hate their guts now. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Anyway, what I do for these reviews, for those of you who've never seen one, is I usually go through the plot of the movie by reading the Wikipedia article description, and then I have my own notes put in the middle of it and put in certain areas, and I read them. So, yeah. In Derry, Maine, a man sees his boyfriend murdered by Pennywise after homophobic youths assault them and throw them off a bridge. This is actually the beginning of the It book, I believe. Investigating, Mike Hanlon discovers It has returned and calls his childhood friends Bill Denborough, Ben Hanscom, Beverly Marsh, Richie Tozier, Eddie Kaspbrak, and Stanley Years back to Derry to honor the promise they made 27 years ago to kill it if it ever came back. While the others travel to Derry with hazy memories, Stan commits suicide after being contacted. The losers meet for dinner and Mike refreshes their memories before they are tormented by hallucinations and learn of Stanley's suicide. Ben looks completely different, but that is meant to show how much people change how much people can change over the years. It becomes a running joke, actually, but it still kind of fails. Bill Hader plays adult Richie. I know Bill from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, as well as a few other things, I believe, though this movie was the first time I actually saw him on screen. James McAvoy is Bill, not Bill Hader. Bill from It, obviously. And him doing an American accent is the strangest thing from this franchise, including the space turtle from the book. Bill Hader does an obvious out-of-character bit about Jabba the Hutt. Richie and Eddie decide to leave until Beverly reveals that she had psychic visions of their death should they fail to fulfill their promise. Meanwhile, Henry Bowers, who was arrested for the murder of his father, escapes from a mental institution with help from It, and a little girl is killed by Pennywise at a baseball game. The sad part about the little girl's death is that not only did I feel bad for her, but she actually almost escaped Pennywise when she first saw him, showing that his powers have actually weakened since the losers first defeated him back in the 80s. Also, the jump scare in this moment actually made me jump both times I saw it, unlike anything in the first movie, which I feel makes sense. This movie is the Losers Club as adults, so in my opinion it should have been even darker than the original, kind of like how Harry Potter got darker the older he got too. I only say that, and I'm making a comparison to Harry Potter, because I've been reading Harry Potter lately, and I haven't watched any of the movies lately. I have them all beside me, because I plan to rewatch the first 5 at least. I don't want to watch the last 3 yet, but I was reading the 5th book, so I want to watch those movies. And I just decided to do a thing for it on there. Anyway, Mike shows Bill via drug-induced vision that the Native American ritual of Chud can stop it for good. In this movie, we go into Pennywise's background a bit, but not enough that it actually really ends up mattering in the end. Sadly, we'll never get a faithful adaptation of the source material, considering how long and strange and probably unfilmable it is. Going to their old clubhouse that was never mentioned in the first movie, and finding Stan's shower cap, Mike explains that the ritual requires items from their past to be sacrificed and instructs the others to split up and search for their artifacts. Beverly goes to her old home, now inhabited by an elderly woman, and finds Ben's love letter, still believing Bill wrote it, fleeing when the elderly woman turns out to be It. Ben recalls a childhood encounter with Pennywise at school and realizes his artifact is a yearbook page Beverly signed, which he kept in his wallet. Richie and Eddie retrieve their artifacts, a token from an arcade, a cabinet, and an inhaler. Pennywise confronts Richie and taunts him about his sexuality, which he turns out to be at least bi. Which was not in the source material. before menacing Eddie, but when Eddie stands up to it, the creature shrinks and flees. I have to be honest, the de-aging effects in this movie are not very good. I didn't know where to put that note, so I just put it there. Bill finds his childhood bicycle and recovers the paper boat from the storm drain where Georgie was killed. In this moment, Stephen King came in his own movie in a Stan Lee fashion. Also, rest in peace, Stan Lee. He meets a boy named Dean who he hears voices from the drain. One minute, I gotta get back to where I was on my notes. So I had an interruption for a minute. Oh, he meets a boy named Dean who says he hears voices from the drain. Later, Bill receives a message from It who's going after Dean. Bill runs off to save Dean, only to watch hopelessly as Pennywise kills the boy. Henry attempts to murder Eddie at the Losers Hotel and then Mike at the library, but Richie kills him. The Losers rejoin Bill at the Neibolt house, taking him out of facing It alone. Then I'm back again. Another interruption. The Losers rejoined Bill at the Neibolt house, talking him out of facing It alone. After saving Beverly from It, the group descends into a cavern beneath the sewers and perform the ritual in the remains of the meteor that brought It to Earth. The ritual traps the deadlights in a sealing jar, but it emerged from the jar as a giant red balloon which bursts, revealing it in two combined forms: Pennywise and a spider. Pennywise pressures Mike into revealing that It killed the natives originally performing the ritual because their fears overtook them, a fact that Mike had hidden. And It attacks the Losers and places Bill, Ben, and Beverly in nightmarish hallucinations, which they escape once Bill lets go of his guilt over Georgie's death and Beverly realizes Ben wrote the love letter. Mike stands up to Pennywise only to get almost eaten, but Richie manages to distract it, getting caught in It's deadlights. Eddie saves him, but is fatally impaled. He explains how he made it feel small earlier. In the scene in the bathroom stall with Beverly, we see Henry say here's Johnny as a reference to The Shining, which isn't canon to the world of It, which makes me sad because I want a Stephen King movie universe just like his books had. Also, Eddie dies just like in the miniseries, but this time it feels so much more real to me. I felt for these characters a lot more than I did for the miniseries versions for sure, and that's where this version of It Chapter 2 is a lot better, other than a lot of other things. The Losers mock Pennywise, showing that they are not scared anymore, and calling Pennywise various names to make it weaker and smaller, causing Pennywise to shrink. Mike rips out its heart, he and the Losers crush it, finally killing it. Eddie dies from his injuries, and the Losers are forced to leave when its cabin implodes, destroying the Neibolt house. In the book, I heard that the entire town gets destroyed, actually, which is something. The remaining Losers return to their old swimming area and wash off from their confrontation with It and join hands to comfort Richie as he mourns for Eddie. After the Losers part ways, Ben and Beverly get married. Richie returns to the kissing ridge where he had once carved his and Eddie's initials. And Mike decides to move out of Derry and start a new life, and Bill begins writing his new story before receiving a call from Mike as he's in Derry, learning that Stan sent them all posthumous letters. The letters reveal Stan was too scared to face It, and his suicide was a sacrifice to give his chance against It. He asks the remaining Losers to live life to the fullest potential. First off, Ben and Beverly kiss underwater, which is a bad idea. Secondly, the movie ends beautifully, almost making me cry. At least until Stanley reveals his death as somehow heroic. And that, my friends, is the end of the It Chapter 2 review and the end of the It franchise. Oh wait, I still have the book. Oh boy.